Hello, friends, and welcome to another fabulous edition of Master of None Prime Time. Tonight, we will be discussing Star Trek movies and their place amongst other Star Trek movies. So, uh, I'll probably be pretty quick about this tonight. It's also my first one, and we'll see how it works. If anybody wants us to jump on, the link is in the it's a pinned comment. And yeah, man. Wow, that was smart. All right, cool. So, anyways, we will get started. We'll do these little bit of ground rules, I suppose. I'm going to try to be as impartial as humanly possible. I also would like to do it in terms of influence as over nostalgia, because I know a lot of these can be nostalgia influenced. So, uh, without any further ado, let's start with the first one. We're going to go in chronological order. I had to change it earlier today for some reason. It wasn't right. So, anyways, the first movie is Star Trek: The Motion Picture. All in all, it's a Star Trek movie. The reason why I have the tiers ranked great, above average, average, below average, and heck no, is because I mean, there's not really anything that I would consider to be on a god tier level per se. More along the lines of just personal favorites, and these are like great movies. They're not what anybody would consider to be over the top or artful cinema by any stretch of the imagination. So, Star Trek: The Motion Picture, I would honestly say it's above average. The special effects are extremely dated. Um, uh, One would wish you were on some hallucinogens in the kaleidoscope parts of the movie, because it does get a little trippy after a little bit. And it also kind of brought Star Trek to the big screen, since Paramount at the time was searching for, you know, a science fiction type property that would rival Star Wars. Not necessarily rival, but we know. I think it's a it, it doesn't necessarily stand the test of time, but in terms of influence, I think it is up there. Um, yeah, so that would be Star Trek: The Motion Picture, ladies and gentlemen. The next one would be uh, Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan is probably the quintessential everyone favorite of the Star Trek movies, just in general. Star Trek II, directed by Nicholas Meyer, written by Nicholas Meyer, and produced by Harv Bennett, kind of saved Star Trek in a lot of ways. It took it to a whole different level. It also kind of gave us the Star Trek trilogy, as it were, 2, 3, and 4, and I really love it. Ricardo Montalban was great. Kirk, I mean, this movie alone, like it's the best of the original series, and quite possibly the best of all of them in general. Hey, what's up, TW? How's it going, man? Not much. Just kind of got a little rapid fire through this stuff, so I can make it onto RJ's stream in about an hour and a half. So, rapid fire through this stuff and see what happens. Yeah, Star Trek 2. Nothing much I can really say about it as far as a Star Trek movie. It's the first movie I watched. It's definitely the best. Let's see here. The next one, Star Trek 3: The Search for Spock. Let me tell you, Star Trek 3: The Search for Spock is a great movie in the sense that it brought us full round to the Klingons, man. there was a little bit of a tease as to what the Klingons would look like in the motion picture, but we actually got to see, hear, and experience everything that was Klingon, and we also got to see um, first Star Trek stock footage of what a Klingon ship would be in Star Trek 3 as well. Also, the destruction of the original 1701. Sad day indeed. But those Klingon bastards, they killed his boy. Yeah. No, it's are they calling for you, dude? You you better go. You better go. Ooh. Close the door. There you go. Anywho, sorry about that. No, Star Trek 3 was great. It gave us Christopher Lloyd before Back to the Future. And anytime you see Christopher Lloyd in any capacity, that is pretty damn good. So I would say it's average as far as the Star Trek movies go. It's not great, but it's not, oh heck no. Yeah, no, right down the pipe. Right down the pipe. No, sorry, TW. My nephew is in here playing games, but I can hear his mom calling him in the background, and he was avoiding responsibility. So I was, yeah, sorry. She was starting the countdown. So you got to be careful when that happens. And this movie also uh, gave us the life and death of the Genesis planet, the fact that they use proto matter, unstable proto matter, to make the Genesis device, which was discharged at the end of Star Trek 2. Comes full circle. We find out that Spock leaves. Right? I love Christopher Lloyd in Taxi too, man. He was legit. Yeah, sorry, man. Like I said, but it's all good. But yeah, no. Savick was replaced, from Christy Alley to Robin Curtis, who, in my opinion, I think did a better job as Lieutenant Savick. Um, she was also Lieutenant Savick in Star Trek 4 as well. I really enjoyed this movie. The Genesis planet basically regenerates Spock, and yeah, no, Kirk's son, who he meets before, ends up getting killed by Christopher Lloyd's character, and yeah, no, there's one scene where it's "I have had enough of you," and he like kicks the Klingon captain off the edge of the flaming planet. But yeah, I just watched the behind the scenes on this movie. Pretty solid, pretty solid. Uh, it. I watched this actually pretty recently. Um, it was great. Uh, Also, the Star Trek 2 Wrath of Khan, the director's cut, which Mark from Benson's Toy Emporium sent me. Dude, it is fantastic. Let's see here. I know you talked about in that funeral scene. Still gets me emotional. Oh, dude, right? The Wrath of Khan funeral scene, yeah. And the fact that William Shatner kind of almost broke a little bit, which is really just fantastic. And then they also bring that up at the beginning of Search for Spock as well, which it just, like I said, it makes the movie makes so much more sense, especially when it talks about the Katra, the 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 spirit, the all but the body of that. Oh yeah, dude, and the Amazing Grace with the bagpipes. Oh yeah, yeah. And dude, then the music, James Horner did such a great job in the soundtrack. And also, the soundtrack on Star Trek: The Motion Picture with Jerry Goldsmith was the one that they continued to use all the way up through the Next Generation. It was also the Next Generation theme. So the dun, 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 dun. Star Trek: The Motion Picture. All right, so on to the next. Um, yeah. So every time I go to San Francisco, I watch this movie, Star Trek 4: The Voyage Home. They take a rickety Klingon bird of prey, they slingshot that sumbitch around the sun, and they go back in time to 1986. Let me tell you, San Francisco, 1986. What a weird place, man. What a weird place. I don't know. I kind of wish I'd have been there in the 80s. First time I was in San Francisco was in the early 90s. Love this movie. I have to say it's probably the second or the third Star Trek movie I remember watching. This movie's fantastic. You know what, Shifty you were right. I it is above average. You are correct. Thank you. I stand corrected. Star Trek 3 is just it really is that good. It gave us the Excelsior. Yeah, and good morning, Captain. Oh yeah, dude. The sabotage. But yeah, no. So I there's gonna be I don't necessarily know if there's gonna be any like major shockers or anything like that. Let's see. Star Trek 4 is gonna go into great. Uh it's the only Star Trek movie that I would recommend for anybody that has never watched a Star Trek movie before. Uh and that's saying something. It's a really good movie. Uh just the out of the fish out of water action with Kirk and Spock going on a date with the the whale lady down there. It was cool. It was cool. That old truck that she drove around, my dad has a truck just like that. So every time I see that, it reminds me of that too. And yes, every time I go down to the marina, that's what I remember is just Spock walking around. It gives us one of the production Kirk Thatcher, one of the production assistants, getting listening to his own punk song, flipping off Kirk and Spock, and then getting Vulcan neck pinched on the bus on their way to Sausalito, which does not have a cetacean institute. Been to Sausalito a bunch of times. It's a beautiful place. Sitting on the dock of the bay was written about that place. Sausalito is beauty. Yeah, right. I haven't had enough of you. Right? Get out of there. And like the other thing that's great about Star Trek 4 is they totally redo that. Let's see here. Oh yeah, dude, the Scotty scene with in Star Trek 4 with the computer. Yeah. Do you boys eat Italian? Yes. No. Yes. Yes. I think he did a little too much LDS. LDS. But yeah, man, this is great. I mean, Chekhov asking for nuclear vessels. I mean, like this is like I said, quintessential Star Trek, man. It had all that heart. It had the humor. It was the last of the Star Trek movies that Leonard Nimoy directed. And that's the other thing I didn't talk about is the fact that Star Trek 3 was directed by Leonard Nimoy. And yeah, he did a fantastic job, I'll have to say. It also gave us um, the Klingon ambassador, which we get to see in further installments. The punishment after stealing the Enterprise and blowing it up with all those Klingons on board. Yeah, right. Nuclear vessels. Hello, computer. Use the keyboard. Keyboard. How quaint. Transparent aluminum. Right. But no, dude, like Star Trek 4 was great, man. And then that I don't know how that bird of prey made it all the way back with the whales and back, but George and Gracie got to the future, and the cetacean biologist needed a job. Captain, there be whales here. Like, yes, dude. Like this movie had so much heart. And not only that, but it was at a time where like Greenpeace and the whale movement, like the anti-whaling movement, was at its height. Like it was just a really big thing for whales and stuff. And I know, Captain or no. William Shatner did some poetry, spoken poetry, with whales in the background. They were all really big advocates for whales, which yeah, no, I definitely love this movie, and it kind of hit the cultural zeitgeist a little bit, in terms of activism and in terms of the movie. And not only that, but it didn't really have a direct bad guy other than maybe humanity itself. And that was one thing that's always been great about Star Trek is it gives us the opportunity to step back, take a look, and say, "Hey, man, that's us. Maybe we should fix some stuff in order to get to the future that's so bright and shiny." The one thing I love about the original series movies, aside from the motion picture, is that they all, excuse me, I got some ice, kind of lead into each other, especially with 2, 3, 4, and a little bit of 5. I think I'm going to give it my first somewhat below average. I didn't hate Star Trek 5, but I also, I'm not going to say that it's like middle of the road either. I'd say it's a little bit subpar. Let's see here. If I wasn't around at the time of Super Star Trek. Oh yeah, dude. Well, honestly, I wouldn't say that because I think the grosses for Star Wars are like tremendous, are like way way more, and I don't think any of them actually opened up against theaters. Yeah, exactly. It was like Trekkies kind of were more high minded of it, and yeah, exactly. It was like more Star Wars, and that critics kind of looked down and didn't necessarily understand or like Star Wars or Star Trek. So it was kind of one of those things, like to be a Star Trek fan was not necessarily to be cool back in the day, which now with all the other stuff, it kind of makes things kind of crappy. Star Trek 5 is cool. Kind of starts out with one of my favorite parts of that movie, where they're at Yosemite and they're out camping and all that kind of stuff. And Captain Kirk's climbing, El Capitan. I can't say too much more about it other than why does God need a starship? Um, I don't know. It was kind of like a William Shatner vanity project. It's good movie, but like I said, it's not that I would write home about. I'll watch it if it comes on TV. I'm not necessarily like over the moon about it. Um, let's see here. Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. 5 is William Shatner's movie, which is cool because when I went to Yosemite earlier this year, I got to get a picture of some of those "Go Climb a Rock" shirts. I was like, "Oh, Star Trek, man, remind me of Star Trek." Loved it, man. But yeah, I mean, it was great. Spock's half brother. Uh, that was cool. Didn't know too much about that, and then his adopted sister, which we find out later in Star Trek Discovery, Michael Burnham. So yeah, Cybok was his name, but it also gave us David Warner in Star Trek, which is really cool because that kind of leads me into my next movie. David Warner is also what dude? He's Star Trek royalty man, and I love it. Let's see here. Paramount pushing their funds and Sean Connery to the Last Crusade. Oh yeah, that's right. Star Trek 5 got hurt. Oh, what? Connery was supposed to be Cybok? I could see that. Yeah, I heard about the rock monster at the end. I don't know. I'm kind of glad that they didn't do that one, to be honestly. Oh, got it. They referenced Fashakari. Dude, David Warner, he was great, man. He was in Secret of the Ooze as a scientist. That's how I first knew him. Ninja Turtles 2. Uh, but he also played Chancellor Gorkon in Star Trek 6, and also he was in, Next Generation a couple times, I think. One of being, the Chain of Command two-parter, where he played How Many Lights captain, uh, the Cardassian, torture guy. Yeah, crazy, crazy, crazy. Right? That's right. Yeah, we got dude. I love Galaxy Quest, man. That's a great movie. Yeah, see, that's the Next Generation and Star Trek 6. But yeah, he was also in Star Trek 5 as well, though. He was one of the diplomats. Star Trek 6, I would say, yeah, it's above average. I wouldn't necessarily say it's great. It's not. I watch it every once in a while. I love the fact that Nicholas Meyer. It's another one that he wrote and directed. Uh, yeah, I mean, it's kind of the end of the Harv Bennett run of movies, and it's a fitting end, in my opinion, uh, for the original series crew. I mean, I think. Let's see what. Right? I think so. I agree. Galaxy Quest gets better with every trek, I think. Right? See here, the Sex in the City gal that played the Vulcan chick. Yeah, Lieutenant Valeris. Yeah, it was supposed to be Savick from Wrath of Khan. But yeah, Robin Curtis, I think yeah, she wanted money. But no, it was cool. They got, I forgot her name. But yeah, she played Samantha in Sex in the City. But it was really cool to see her. Dude, and then there was like a scene in there that I don't know, like if you really think about it, like Spock entered her mind without consent. Like if you really think about it, that mind meld scene was very um mind melds in general kind of get that rapey vibe to them. Just saying. Kim Cattrall. That's what it is. Dude, yeah, no, and I had the biggest crush on her too, man. Fine, fine, hell yeah. And like I said though, and it kind of leads me into the next one. Uh, all right, let's see. I've never seen Master and Commander, but I have seen Galaxy Quest a bunch of times. The best two non-Star Trek films. Yes, yes, I'm gonna have to check that out. Uh, was another one of the my first Star Trek movies itself. Oh, right. Oh, no, I'm almost there, RJ. I'm kind of rapid firing through, buddy. And thanks for stopping by, my friend. Yeah, so anyways, fitting end for the original crew. Star Trek 6 is above average in my opinion. Probably it's in the upper echelon of Star Trek movies for me. It's hard to label them down in terms of top 5, you know, for me personally cuz it's always changing. It's always changing. But in terms of influence, Star Trek 2 is great. It saved the franchise, and Star Trek 4 was great because it introduced me to the franchise. Uh, anyways, terms of endings and then terms of beginnings, the first Next Generation film. Uh, I'm going to have to let go of a lot of nostalgia when I talk about these movies, and I'm probably going to go through them relatively quickly, uh, with regards to generations and anything but First Contact. Star Trek Generations was middle of the road, man. Middle of the road. I didn't like how Kirk died. Um, it was on a bridge, haha. Malcolm McDowell hated the movie. In return, I hated him. Whoopi Goldberg's Guinan was probably the biggest highlight of the movie. The Nexus was really hard to understand. Let's see here. Endgame homage to the undiscovered country and the credits with actors. Oh, that's right, they did. Oh man, hey, I forgot about that. I like that. See, that was one thing I liked about dude. That was the true end of the crew. They shouldn't. It should have been a strictly Next Generation movie. Paramount screwed up when they decided to put uh, Kirk and Kirk put to put the crew in there was so dumb. Like, I mean, yes, we got to see the Enterprise B, but like, come on, man. This was the Next Generation movie. It should have been that one from the beginning. That's the biggest letdown of it. That and Lorsa and Bator. I mean, come on, the Duras sisters. They could have came up with a better villain in that set of circumstances. So, anyways, that leads me to my favorite of the Next Generation. Right? Oh, he did. Man, I don't have to stop using that. No, I'm just kidding. I like how he says it. I always thought it was funny. Yeah, see, it'd be kind of cool to get Alan Ruck, man. Like he was really good. Yeah, they wanted Generations to be a crossover movie, and they wanted a bunch of stuff. Like it's in the director's commentary or the writer's commentary because Braga and Ron Moore talk about this a lot. Or sure out on the commentary for Generations, and yeah, man. Uh, that's so weird. I don't understand why they didn't think that the Next Generation could carry it without Shatner. It was dumb. And then they also approached like Leonard Nimoy to be a part of it, and like so they settled with who was in that movie. Like they approached everybody to be a part of it. So it, like I said, it just kind of muted the end of Undiscovered Country because that was kind of them bowing out. So yeah, no, it's just Generations was kind of a weird movie. It's like it's a good movie, but it's not like I wouldn't consider it a great movie by any stretch. And that's almost the same thing with Star Trek First Contact. Um, Star Trek First Contact, although it is my like personal favorite of these Star Trek movies, I understand its almost like lack of mainstream appeal slash other stuff because I remember being in school being all excited and I was the only one in my entire school that was excited about this movie coming out. So it's like I understand, but I also understand. Let's see here. My issue is timeline. There's so much time negativity. Oh, dude, yeah. There's so much you could tell in between the two. Like, I mean, yeah, if they would have done more like a prequel or something like that, it would have been more interesting. But like, I don't know. Like, I think they had their moment, you know, in the sun, and it was time for the next generation to take up the mantle, as it were. Yeah, and it might be a little different about the next or First Contact for me, but Jonathan Frakes did a pretty good job directing the movie. I mean, I love Alfred Woodard. Zephyr Cochrane, played by James Cromwell. James Cromwell's amazing. He was in Babe. He was the farmer. He was great. But yeah, I mean, this movie was awesome. Gave us the Borg Queen. It introduced like a bunch of weird, like retconny type continuity type plot hole devices. Let me take care of that here. Sorry, webcams in HD. I don't need your porn on my channel. Thank you very much. Yes. Yes, that's where he says, "Sweet Jesus." I always like that. Jesus. Yeah, you tell him, Mason. Yeah, no, he was in the Green Mile and Babe. Yeah, see, the First Contact's a mixed bag. It's like there's great aspects to it, but there's also like, yeah, exactly. It's just that there's so much to it that like introduced a bunch of continuity issues with Star Trek, especially with the Borg, like trying to reconcile that, and then with the Enterprise, which is kind of cool that they brought back James Cromwell, as Zephyr Cochrane and in the pilot episode or in the original episode, which was cool. But like it just made things so much weirder. And then what with Voyager did with them, yeah, no, no, Alfred Comward, sorry, Alfred Woodward was like the best part of that damn movie. Lily, especially being on the ship, like when when the Razor Crest blew up and Enosh like screamed on stream, that's what I thought. Like, no, but the line must be drawn here, this far, and no further. All this stuff, yeah, no, I love this movie, but I also understand it's not necessarily the greatest. It doesn't hold up in terms of time. Neil McDonough's in it, which is cool. Um, yeah, he was in Bison in one of them uh, Chun Li movies. So yeah. Anyways, that's First Contact. It was a good movie. Ron Moore, Brandon Braga did a good job of writing the movie, but like I said, it also introduced, and this is kind of like any time with time travel, even in the Star Trek movie, except for Star Trek 4, mostly. Right? You're welcome. Star Trek 4 dealt with time travel, but it didn't necessarily deal with anything that tremendously affected the time stream. But like, yeah, exactly. It was like a skin bulging nightmare. The soldiers traveling down a dark corridor. Things charged with surroundings. There's arguments about blowing something up. At least, yeah, exactly, dude. Like, it just gets to like who has a parent-child relationship with traveling, and a hive to rescue them from the queen. Oh, and Data almost got assimilated. Yeah, it's like, yeah, Newt almost got impregnated. I'm telling you, yeah, it just it was kind of weird. He was also Damien Dark in Arrow. Yeah, I remember that. He was also in Angels of the Outfield. Yep. But no, it's like I said, other than nostalgia purposes, Star Trek First Contact doesn't necessarily hold up, in my opinion. So that leads us to the next one. This is gonna be the first one that graces the oh heck no. I love to make fun of this movie, and I also don't necessarily like it. Jonathan Frakes came back. It was okay. This was written by Michael Piller. That's why it had the feel of a Next Generation episode so much. It's not that I hate this movie. It's just I don't have any wish to watch it again. Um, let's. I'm being a little harsh. Being a little harsh. I forgot about the joystick scene where Riker's on the bridge of the Enterprise flying it with a goddamn joystick. Yeah, that was pretty gosh darn sweet. Um, yeah, and then Jordy ditching the visor in First Contact was also cool. But I forgot about that. But yeah, that's pretty much all I can say. F. Murray Abraham was cool. See, I kind of liked Insurrection. Yeah, see, it felt like the TNG episode was a villain. Uh, it offends me the least of the Next Generation films. Uh, yeah, hey man, that is true. I liked F. Murray Abraham as what the hell was his name? The leader of the Sona, who were once the Baku, and the yeah, Roafu. Yeah, that's what his name was. But yeah, no, it was an okay movie. It dealt with the bad admiral trope that Star Trek was always kind of known for. It wasn't like I said, I didn't hate the movie. It was the second movie I saw in the theaters that was a Star Trek movie, and yeah, it was like the one that, yeah, the skin stretch face, dude. Like, it was really interesting. It's kind of like body horror-y type stuff, but no, just the special effects were garbage. They did not hold up at all. It had the chick from Spider-Man 2 who played Doc Ock's wife, Deborah Murphy or something. Donna Murphy, that's her name. Um, yeah, Picard fell in love. He did freaking rumba in his room. It was really interesting. Um, and then we got to see uh, Troy shave off Riker's beard as they finally fell in love, which sets up the beginning. Oh, what? No, dude, you got to watch it for the first time next year on January 6th. I'll have to ask you later. It kind of sets up the next movie and the Star Trek: The Next Generation, which kind of rounded it out, and it also ended the Star Trek. And I think this one will firmly go in the oh heck no, Star Trek Nemesis. I hated this movie. Um, I didn't even watch it in the theaters. I watched it on LimeWire. Yeah, yeah. Oh, ha, 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 I got it. That's funny. Ha, ha, uh, uh, but yeah, no. Star Trek Nemesis. What can I say that can't already be said? There was a cameo in the very beginning with Will Wheaton. I think that was kind of cool. They brought back Guinan. That was cool. The wedding scene was probably the best part of the whole damn movie, and then after that, it was all downhill and uh, basically just copied um, Wrath of Khan, but with a clone of Picard. It gave us Tom Hardy, so that's kind of cool, I guess. It's Q and insurrection. No, see that's a missed opportunity. Q should have appeared in a film, to be honest. Uh, no, he'll be back. Like Shiftyism says, he'll be back in Picard season 2, early next year. They take place after the Next Generation. As a matter of fact, Generations is how the D gets destroyed. It like takes place right after. Yeah, after. But yeah, it was okay. Tom Hardy was okay as Praetor Shinzon. Uh, the bio weapon plot was interesting. It was very similar in scope to the Genesis device, um, and the end and Data. Yeah. Oh shit. But then Data, sacrificing at the end. Man, yeah, no, it was okay. It was okay. Yeah, we got B4, which made an appearance in. Yeah, dude, Hardy was young Picard. I would actually. Well, I don't see that's the thing. Tom Hardy's not so young anymore, so like casting him in the role that would be very interesting. Yeah. No, that I don't know who. I know his son, like Jean-Luc or Patrick Stewart's son, was in an episode. I think it was the one with the flute, right? Uh, the name of the episode is escaping me at the moment. Um, so that's pretty much wraps up the Rick Berman Next Generation era of Star Trek. It went away for a while, friends. Um, it went away for a while, and then in 2009, uh, George R. Abrams, um, yeah, kind of was trying to find something. Oh, see, that'd be kind of interesting. He could, yeah, yeah, James McAvoy, dude, that'd be all right. Yeah, I'll repeat the song again from the first measure. All right, so I have a soft spot in my heart for Star Trek 2009. Star Trek was in a bad place in 2009. If Star Trek was a snow globe, all the snow would have settled and people would have moved on. But not this guy right here. This guy right here, he really wanted to watch himself. I'm also surprised, but it was also at a time where like the movies had kind of run their course. And I don't know, to be kind of honest, Star Trek, I've always liked Star Trek more on TV because I feel you could get more scope of it. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the movies and everything, but like I feel like there's just more to it if you watch them. You know, if you watch the shows a little bit, there's a little bit more to be gathered by them. But anyway, Star Trek 2009, J.J. Abrams, Chris Pine, Zach Quinto, Zoe Saldana, Carl Urban. I too saw Star Trek 2009 in theaters. Yeah, dude, fantastic. What can't be said? The Michael Giacchino score was really good. I really like what they did with it. Uh, yeah, it was great, man. I even enjoyed the Beastie Boys at the beginning of the movie, and I don't know what J.J. Abrams has his obsession with throwing the Beastie Boys in Star Trek movies, but congratulations, it ended up in all three. And I think Sabotage would have been a little bit more interesting, just in my opinion. Oh, that's the one that was in there. That's right. Sabotage. Intergalactic is the one I was thinking. Yeah, no, I liked it. New revamped. Gave us the Kelvin timeline. I loved the style. I liked Nero in the first Kelvin movie. Uh, Eric Bana is a great actor, and it's a shame that you don't really get to see him in too much. I liked him as the Hulk. I mean, that's my hot take. Okay, he played a good Bruce Banner, in my opinion. Yeah, no, it was a great movie. Loved it. Bruce Greenwood is uh, Captain Pike was awesome. Uh, yeah, no, it just was great. I wasn't that big a fan of the Kirk arc so much, but given the fact that it's an alternative universe influenced by the disaster that happened on the Kelvin and losing his dad, Chris Hemsworth, yeah, he did reference the Beastie Boys in Star Wars. See that sly son of a bitch weirdo. I'm telling you. All right. And then yeah, that's let's see here. Let's see here. The JJ movies not for me. If they're your thing, cool beans. Though check out the critical drinkers on why modern movies suck. Okay, so now the only reason I'm putting this movie into the great tier amongst the other ones is because it kind of gave us it revitalized Trek. The rest of it, though, I'll just sum it up really quick. Okay, they flipped the glass in Star Trek Into Darkness when Kirk died. Hated it. It was awful. There's no excuse for that. I'm sorry. I feel like they at least tried in 2009. So that's the one I give them credit for. Beyond, um, it was freaking boring, and that's a disrespect to Star Trek Insurrection. So that moves it up there. But Beyond, I didn't like it. It was beyond dull. Um, Sorry, I just didn't. I didn't jive with it too much, man. And then the end was cringe with the other the. See, that's the other thing. Like the endings on these movies were just awful, 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 awful. Star Trek Into Darkness is the worst. Is the worst Star Trek movie there is. Um, I'm making my peace with it, but it still doesn't mean I don't hate it with every fiber of my being. Maybe not every fiber, like three quarters of the fibers of my being. And I did watch the critical drinkers stuff. I agree with it, but I also disagree with it as well. Um, just to a certain point is like you're just gonna have to let go. Like if you don't agree with what you like with the direction that your franchise is taken, You could either like not watch it or just enjoy what you have. Like that's kind of how I look at it, man. All these movies I can enjoy pretty much anytime. Yeah, the drinker, it's more snarky. Just the way he comes across. Um, yeah. Or are you talking about JJ's tone? Yeah, no. Like I said, um, no, I don't. It's probably the only one of the Menace that I'm like only somewhat tangentially watch, just because his videos are short and to the point. But yeah, like I said, the only reason I like the 2009 Trek, it's for a few reasons. I like the cast a lot. I understand that you kind of have to make Star Trek an action film to make it a movie. Yeah, the destruction of Vulcan was kind of shit. Let's see here. Um, yeah, anybody but Khan. I mean, like he looks nothing like Benedict Cumberbatch looked nothing like Ricardo Montalban. Like at all. No, it was just I didn't like it, man. I really didn't like it. If they would have kept him somebody else besides Khan, it would have been all right. But yeah, no. Into Darkness was shite. Um, Beyond was just a notch above that. It had Idris Elba in it. That was cool. He was the villain. It had the chick that got cast in Rebel Moon in it. So that's cool. Yeah. So, anyways, this is basically my opinion of the Star Trek movies, and probably let's do them in kind of an order here. Let's go with all right, there we go. Yeah, that's about how I feel about them. Huh, right? That is so true. See, Red Letter Media was right when they said like the Next Generation movies were like not the greatest films. But that's in hindsight, folks. That's in hindsight. I'm about ready to wrap it up here in a few minutes. Thank you for sticking it out, those of you who have. Appreciate it, Shifty Gism, TW McKay, and RJ for stopping by and saying hello. And to all else that watch us on the replay, if you disagree, we are cool. We are cool. Yeah, exactly, man. Like I kind of like the submarine battles of the old movies, man. Like where the view screen's broken and they gotta use some stuff, man. No, I'm glad you came, man. This is great, man. This is fun. I might have to do it again, but if I do it with Star Wars, I'm gonna have to get some more people on here so we can actually have a good discussion about it. So yeah, man, this is awesome. I want to thank each and every one of my 220 subscribers. Without you guys, I wouldn't really be doing this as a channel because I would just lose interest. I enjoy talking on other people's channels, but doing content over here by myself, that's another challenge altogether. Uh, Anyways, yeah, I got to get going. Guys, thank you for showing up. You're awesome. I'll play my intro again on the outro because let me tell you right now, I made this today and I like it, and then I'll play this and then we'll take off. So enjoy. I hope you enjoyed the tier list and watch this and then take off. Yeah, dude. I'll try to get, like I said, I want to get more people on the panel if I'm going to do a Star Wars one and I'm going to allot more time and make sure that I can get more people involved because I feel like it'll get heated. I feel like it'll get heated. But yeah, I'm going to show you guys my new intro and then I'm going to take off and then take it easy. All right, guys. Take care, man. Much love. Peace.